Yes, welcome once again. Like we did said some minutes ago, say we will open up for Barry to make sure say we start this lovely program where the whole world they anticipate, where they look forward to, what they call legal matter. Simply because everybody they under the law, both the ruler and the ruled, as the principle of rule of law presupposes. All of us now under the law we deal, both the governor and the governed. So therefore, so shebi you be rich man, tabi you even be mekunu, anyone where you be, the law still dey applicable to everybody. And the law is a respecter of no one. That is, favoritism or ethnocentrism is not a coloration of the law. Meaning say everything wey they do here from this table of our TV now to make sure say you no contravene the law. You know your rights too. We go tell you your rights because Barry dey here go spell am out as a day for constitution. Amo, he go tell you when egungun e don dey enter express, that is make egungun be careful so that e no go enter express. So therefore so last week we been look at things wey be say people fit do, wey be say if they do am na punishment e go be under the law for them. And Barry been spell the laws out, things wey make we no do vis-a-vis this COVID-19. So I welcome you to another bomber package, another exciting moment on Legal Matter with Miebu Barry. Barrister Tommy Vincent, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Colinti. Thank you very much. How that day? Thank you very much.
Good, sir. I like this.
Thank you very much. That your English big, Oga.
I know.
Yeah.
We are learning from you.
Ethnocentricity.
We are learning from you. We are learning.
Everyone at home, now welcome. And this is a happy new week. Happy working day. And for those of us who be Muslim brothers, Eid al-Fitr, Baraka, and just to wish you all the best, and that whatever you have done spiritually, it will become enhanced. Yes. The other thing I want to today is just to continue, because this is just a matter of question and answer. After the show, between the last show and yesterday, a lot of questions were still coming in concerning the matters arising out of this COVID-19 issue. Some of them as about marriage, some of them about landlord and tenant, some of them about employment, some of them about contract where they don't sign. How the thing affects some of people. One person say that he and one person agree that they will do something by end of March, and that end of March, now in the COVID-19 lockdown, now in start. So as we spoke now, both of them, they don't even know how to go. He has put money down. That person has not put money down, but has put some things down. So it's like, what do we do now? How do we ask for things like that? So these are all the dimensions. I'll try and answer some of them here. But today, generally, because I need to go to, because we started the topic before the COVID-19 issue started. It was on marriage, an issue of marriage, attendant marriages, property marriage, because people are asking questions about who gets what in marriage, particularly legal marriage, fear. I wanted to explain that one to you, so I want to resume that. But for now, let me just answer all the questions if possible. So more or less going to be an open mic day, so you can ask your question as well, and I will try to answer them. Now, for the tenants that has refused to pay you rent, and those of us who asked that question, yes, it's possible that the tenant can be saying that because of the COVID, he cannot pay rent. It's a comme-ci, comme-ça. It's a 50-50.
Comme-ci, comme-ça.
Comme-ci, comme-ça.
Oh my God.
It's a 50-50 way of looking at it. If there's a contractual relationship that says that he must pay, and there is nothing like force majeure inside that contractual relationship, whereby I can say that because of force majeure, we have to invoke the force majeure is when things happen that is majorly out of the contemplation of the parties. But you have more or less, because of foresight, you have put it inside that contract that in case such happens, this is how we're going to do it. So, but if that is there, that means that you will go by the dictates of what you have contractually agreed to. Within when I don't say, okay, if it happens, this is how I will do, then that one will guide you. But if there is no such thing, then it becomes a matter of common law. Common law means that by default, how the law will try to operate it. And that's what they call a frustration. Oh, because of this COVID-19, I know if you go work, my finance don't go down. This and this don't happen. Then in that sense, it then becomes this issue that you can go to court, both of you can go to court to say, okay, this is what we want to do. But I need to explain to you that it's neither open and shut. There are grounds to grant that that rule, that order you are looking for, that court order that will say that don't pay or pay. You have to prove that the thing was beyond your contemplation, and what happened was so much that it has changed you radically, that you cannot, address these new situations competently. And so it's not as if you just go to court and say, court, tell him not to collect my rent or whatever, or pay my rent. You have to prove. So your lawyer has to prove that condition caused it to happen, that you cannot pay the rent. So what I would advise, which I normally tell people, like, look, at this point in time, the landlord, and I think I said last week, and tenants should come to a place of understanding each other. Granted, because even right now, there's a particular, I don't know where it was here on this, that a man went to give the landlord the rent, the new rent. I mean, he paid only 6 monthly, and then gave the landlord the rent for part of the 6 months. And right there, the landlady was telling the tenant that money is too small, that given the COVID, that he has decided to increase rent. Of course, it's illogical, it's impossible. You cannot do that, because even you must have given them a notice about what to do ahead of time. So you cannot say because it's inconvenient. Everybody will be affected one way or the other by the inconvenience of this COVID. Salaries will be slashed, and salary might not be paid. So there are going to be a lot of issues. So it comes on you to look at it in that sense. But if you still want to insist on your right, then go your lawyer, and lawyer can push it. And that means talking about, because I need to explain to you, everyone listen to me, the law is different from morality. It's different. If you and I have a contract for something, and the contract says you must deliver, if you cannot deliver within that time, I mean, except you are able to prove that there are intervening situations that made that performance impossible, which is what we call frustration. If you say that is so, then at that point you can negotiate. But otherwise, no matter the inconvenience to you, you just must perform. That's why those of us who owe banks money, if you are owing a bank money, I just heard about somewhere where they said that the bank say, okay, we can say you should stop paying back the capital sum you owed, but the interest you must pay. And that might even be the problem, because interest is money, capital is money. Even though they're saying that I should not pay back the capital for now because of the COVID, but they're saying that the interest of the loan, and you can imagine when you don't pay the interest, then it becomes compounded interest, which means that you'll be saying that the banks are very, very inhumane, they are very bad, they're not doing the right thing. But that's contract. That's contract. So when it comes to this like this, it's for you to run back to your bank or to sit down and ask for a renegotiation. It's for all of you to sit down and ask for a negotiation, because going forward, you're going to see so many legal issues that will arise based on this COVID-19 way it is done. Parties that were meant to happen that did not happen, that deposits have been paid. Who gets what? How? If the other person had even paid this and paid that. So understand that dimensions. Understand that. So let there be a way of coming to sit down. This is the essence of mutuality, and I need to say that. Now, my job.
Okay, sir. Sorry, sir. We will definitely pause you a bit so that we'll go on this shaking break. Most definitely when we come back, we'll open the phone line because hands are itching. People want to call in, and I know say the Barry said, he done ready to answer questions. So go nowhere. Legal matter. We'll be right back. Our people they talk say ignorance of the law. No be excuse.
If my name na for property, my child no fit take that thing.
But I get one question. Now, if person die now and he put his wife or he put any of his relative as next.
Ignorance of the law no be excuse o. That na why we get one ogbonge program wey we dey call Legal Matter on top WAP TV.
Yes, so you're welcome to the show. Lovely moment now we dey get here. Just a share experience with ourselves. Things wey dey happen wey be say under the twinkle of an eye, the whole story go don change from how it take start. Well, most definitely we'll open the phone lines now so that you wey dey there go fit ask any question. I mean any question, be it marriage related, be it criminal related, be it business related. Anyone wey be, feel free, ask. Barry dey here to make sure say he answer you, because today na question and answer now they take do, so that we'll go wrap up everything we go to do with the legal side to COVID-19. Okay, I like to start like this, Barry. An incident happened some weeks ago in our area there, and I don't observe say most times when this thing happen, the very first thing people they do na to run away. If somebody die inside house, maybe husband and wife they fight, husband kill wife, sorry sir, husband kill wife. If by chance they know when it happen, there's what we call clinical arrest, civil arrest. They hold, most times they hold the man. But if they don't know what happen, I just know it's the year over the midnight, and they say the man don't piante. The first thing everybody does is to desert that house. The one way happen from my own side, if somebody is trying to commit suicide, the person never died before they been rescued, but yet despite the person never died, they be help him go hospital. A young person now. Everybody deserted our home. Everybody ran away and everything. Barry, is it a very advisable thing for us to do? What in law you talk? Person will commit suicide for your house, we will discover. No be we kill him. Should we or must we always run away from our flat, from our house? And why be say when such thing happen, if police come, the first thing everybody wey dey the house, you're under arrest. For station. What is our right when such happen, and what are we expected to do?
Thank you very much. A very, very, very good question. Ideally speaking, yes, let's put it under two heads: the role of the police, and then the role of the citizens. Now, when a crime happens, normally for the purpose of investigation of the crime or to stop the crime, there's need to have people to help in giving evidences or give their own perspective, eyewitness account, and things like that. So when such is in line with the duty of the police to make questions, to interrogate people around, what do you notice? What do you notice? And it's also the duty, ideally speaking, is the duty of the citizens to also be able to help the police to get the information, to volunteer information. I saw this, I saw that. That will help in unraveling that circumstance, whether it is self-inflicted crime, whether it is somebody else who that did the crime on the other person. But it's just that that's supposed to be the ideal situation. But it's just that in this part of the world, what usually happens is that the few bad elements within the police force would always use that opportunity to do the wrong thing, to ask you to come and what is it called, to write statement. By the time you write statement, they're asking you
nobody
that
go out,
so you need to go and get somebody to come and bail you. These are all the elements that make people to feel like, look, I'm not interested. I don't want
my family. Run away.
Don't run away, and that is causing a lot of and I know and there's also, that's why the police force, they've set up the human rights desk at their offices.
So what you tell me now be say every police station get human rights desk.
They should have.
And because there's some police stations where I don't go, I see say they get at least that of Okota. I know at least I know by one or two persons. Now the question why they have to say, if person gets issue inside police station and say wetin you do, I be wetin dey happen there, or wetin they arrest you for, no be wetin you really do. Is it now my duty to say I want to go to human rights or come in human rights? How do we use it?
Thank you very much. That's why I normally tell people that whenever you are invited to police station, don't go alone. don't go alone. Go with an independent person, so that that person can be like your link between that station and outside world. Can be so that the person also be observant. Look around. What is the phone number of the human rights people that I'm supposed to call here? Because usually there's a phone number that is not about that police station. It's a central body of human rights that will say that this is the human rights something. And then if possible,
this is funny, but I have to say it, sir. When most times when people follow people go police station, maybe the person say I rape, and he say I no rape, and he show for him, and he go a kind independent person go. When person reach there, if he be like, you be in friend, now they rape together, be.
I mean that I understand. It's so bad that sometimes the problem with enforcement of the police issues is that there's a bad PR that is, and that they are trying their best.
No.
So is if you go like that, if it goes like that, and that they just say won't carry you too, probably that's why you have to get a lawyer. I get him. Get a lawyer involved. If you cannot, probably even if you are going, if it's possible, I can get a lawyer to go with you. Okay. But if I not get a lawyer, because they cannot arrest the lawyer and put the lawyer inside the prison with you, because lawyer has the right to come and bail you, to come and do whatever. So I always tell people that don't go to a police station alone. Go with somebody.
Good lesson.
Go with
to
somebody.
the police station
alone. Go with somebody so that, and you see, we have bad eggs among the police force, but I must say that in many instances, you have also very good.
We have some very good ones. Very good ones. Around that, if not for the payment person, don't mention him, where they don't do things creditably well, and when it's time for them to take money, they say they don't want money.
No, yeah, I mean,
they say they don't want money.
I mean, I've seen police DPOs and whatever that even settled cases there and there. They say, look, to settle, to make sure. I mean, fairness is fairness.
And they will tell you they don't want money. I was surprised when I see such what happened to somebody where I know where they work together here. And the person, she's a lady, she was trying to be the landlord, not be even the landlord, a caretaker. The person will get house, no day Nigeria. He won't oppress the lady and everything. And at the end of the day, the man in charge of the case helped her. And when it was time to search, the man said, no, I don't want any money. I did my own for God, you can go. And we were all surprised that I missed her. And so what did they try to tell us now? They say, if such happen, no be to run away be the first thing. No. Stay.
No be to run away. Except you are too sure that you are involved.
But if you know they're involved at
then
all,
there's no point in running away and whatever. But you see, I understand the psychology of our people who feel that before they can even get to that trying to absolve themselves, police will just push everybody inside the something and colo and say that until you are able to discover, and they can keep you for 3, 4, 5 days, and that inconvenience to some people is even psychologically torturing.
Is that not an abuse of?
It's an abuse. It's an abuse. It's an abuse. It's strongly an abuse.
Okay, let us move on, sir. There's another very lovely question here, which I feel will be beneficial to everybody. Barry, officers stop person for road, or security agents stop person for road because of mask, and they no wear mask.
Of course, it's not right. In fact, a policeman tried to stop me there, and I said,
you know where the face mask, but he wants to apprehend a citizen where you know where. What is expected of the citizen?
You cannot be wearing. How do I put it? You are infringing the law. You are asking me to comply with the law. There's what they call the rule of law. Equality before the law, supremacy of the law, equality before the law, and respect of fundamental human rights. So if you are not wearing,
according to A.V. Dicey,
thank you very much. If you are not wearing, then morally speaking, you are not justified to be asking me not to come and be arresting me. Of course, these are people that most times they are just trying to look for more what to eat, that they understand the implication.
So they are not above the law.
Of course, nobody is above the law. That's why you can also affect the arrest of the police. I mean, remember the policeman during the COVID.
But if he affect arrest of police.
Oh yes. Law empowers you. Because there's what it's called the citizen's arrest. You can do that if the policeman, is abusing the office. But just that in this part of the world, it's a bit dicey. You cannot because of a lot of issues. But there's a provisions of the law that says that a citizen can effect arrest. I can arrest an offender of a crime if I have the means to do that. Okay. So just like if you remember what happened recently when a man, I think it was viral, a man was arrested for coming out during the COVID, and then the policeman
extorted money. It happened in Agoye.
Agoye, about 40,000, 20,000.
Yes. Counting the money.
And the man just used a camera, phone camera, to record the man what he was doing. Of course, within the next 2 days, the man who was so-called the police officer was arrested and was put on video. So that is another way of effecting arrest. So if you are going to police station and somebody is trying to arrest you, you can probably put on a kind of a camera that would allow them to see that, look, this is what they're doing to me. And you can make it viral. And in that sense, it's helpful. But ideally, many police officers don't do that. It's just that the few bad ones who feel that they are above the law will come and they expose themselves.
Okay, please feel free, join us back to back. Now the question, the role yourself, ask us, what be that thing? But they do your mind yaga as far as law they concerned, simply because legal business. Now everybody business, it concern you, it concern me. Who they do you somehow where we say, if you say this the way this person they do me under the ambience of the law now cheating, feel free, ask Barry so that you go know how to go about your fighting for your right. Barry, the next one I want to ask, sorry say my question, they come back to back. But the next one I want to ask again, now issue wey happen again. And our people talk say, he really lo mojo agbajin. This eye wey go inside. Now wait here, elderly person you don't see. Landlord and tenant they fight. Real life story. And fine. The landlord, now, I think we have a caller. Okay, append this question. James, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How is Kaduna this morning?
Kaduna is very wonderful.
Our barrister is here. Please, feel free, ask your question.
Okay, barrister, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. My name is James from Kaduna.
God bless you, sir. James.
I have an issue that has really bothered me for a very long time, and I want to have a better clarification.
Go ahead.
I rented a house, and then the house was uncompleted. I mean, there are some, though it's a complete house, but I think the wind for the ceiling, so many jobs there. Are you with me, sir?
I'm here with you.
Okay. Now, the landlord told me that the house is 80,000. And I said, okay, this is 60. Before I enter, make sure you finish the work so that I'll give you the remaining 20. After giving him that money, he did not do anything. So, and I asked him, why now? He said he has used the money for school fees and I said, okay, the balance will not be able to finish this work. If I finish this work, how are we going to settle it? That was on phone conversation because I didn't see him. He now said, okay, if I have the money, I should go ahead. That when we see, we'll discuss on that. Which, based on trust, I agreed, and I did the job, and I entered the house. He now came one day in the morning and now asked me for the balance. And I told him that, but we discussed on phone. He says it's none of his business. That I'm the one living inside, I should give him his balance. I wanted to attack him that morning, but I just felt that if I should hit this one, maybe it's a different thing per se. So he now told me a word that he knows what to do. Not knowing that he has it in mind to sell the house. So now, he sold the house without the tenant. None of us is aware. Now, the new owner came, which is a woman, and then she claimed that she's a widow, a wife of an ex-soldier. So when she came, we explained to her that we are not even aware that they sold this house. So the woman keep on persuading her that we just have to leave, that she's the new owner. And at the point of this, the landlord mother came that, please, we should not leave the house, that this house belongs to her and it's her inheritance.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
I'm
here with you.
So now, the woman, the new buyer now came, later on using soldiers, that her brother is a soldier, they will come to the house, harass us and the rest. Though I've left the house,
yeah.
But I just have it in mind after the lockdown to do something.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yes,
thank you very much, James. First and foremost, the barrister's number will be on the screen now.
I can quickly answer James.
So that after that, you can have a one-on-one with him. But yes.
James, for everybody, for the purpose of everybody that listen to me, one, listen to me very well. If you're a tenant in a house and you are told by a landlord to repair something in the house that is ordinarily meant to be fundamentally the responsibility of the landlord, something like the roof, something like the wall of the house broke down or the window damaged, things that you are not the one that did it, you are about to move in the house, anything, the floor, if they are call it those structural issues about the house, if the landlord says you should do it and then you kind of offset it from your rent, listen to me very well. Except by law, that landlord puts that down in writing, that commitment to offset in writing. Whatever you guys say verbally will not hold by law. Because, the angle a landlord can always use that, look, you did it for your own comfort. It was not an obligation that I owe you. That's why, for those of you who want to move into a house, the house is so rough, and the landlord tells you that use your money to fix the house.
We'll use the SA house
No,
rent.
let the landlord put it in writing that he will allow you to offset your rent from the social time. Are you getting me? That is one. Number two, Shehu from Niger.
Okay, good morning, Shehu.
Good morning, sir.
How you day?
Thank you, sir.
Barry Day here. Please go ahead with your question.
Okay. I want to ask, sir.
Go ahead.
The question is that I have account in Union Bank. I have account in Union Bank.
Yeah.
Union Bank. So I'm a patient here. When I pay my allowance, I will draw 6,000. I'll draw 6,000. Then 36,000. They did not give me. They said they use the money to buy credit.
Who says so? Bank.
The bank said they use the Union Bank.
Okay, I think Barrister's number will be displayed on the screen for you, Mr. Shehu.
Shehu, I'll talk to you. I don't understand that one, but I'll probably when you call me.
MCR, please.
I'll be able to do that. Now, so for the sale of property, anybody that is buying property that is tenanted, the law says that the right of the tenant will affect your own rights, because you see, if the landlord is selling a house that is occupied by tenants, it behoves you as the new buyer. It's your duty
to do due diligence
to know what and what, because your own purchase cannot automatically nullify the rights of the tenants.
The standing rights.
Yes, of the tenants. You will take your purchase subject to the rights of those tenants. That's law. So if you are going there to go and be harassing them, they can even sue you for trespass. They can sue you for personal harassment. Just as the law courts here, we tend to try to ignore so many things. But if as a tenant, I have a place, even if it's still remaining 6 months or 3 months, and you bought and you have the right to come, you cannot come to my premises except I allow you, because I don't know you as far as I'm concerned. And if I even know you, it's subject to my own right, because while in that premises, that's why every landlord listen to me. Your tenants are not your stooges. You're not your slaves. There's what they call the estate. You see, even though you are the owner of a building, the moment you let out a 2-bedroom flat or a 1-room apartment to somebody, that person, for that period of that tenancy, that 1 year or 6 months, has an estate in that room. Are you understanding me? In that room, that precludes you, that does not allow you to just walk into that place and say, I'm a landlord, that's how I can have the right. Otherwise, they can sue you for trespass, because you have said that by giving them that room, that you have given them the exclusive possession of that room for the period that they paid their rent for. When they have finished paying their rent, when the rent is due, you can come back. But
sorry, sir. We have Adegoke. Adegoke, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yes, this is WAP TV and this is Legal Matter. So go ahead with your question. The barrister is here.
Yes, I want to ask a question from the barrister.
Go ahead, please.
Yes, I have a small apartment.
Yeah.
And I first want to ask, is there any advantage for a landlord who does not collect agreement from the tenant, no agreement, no commission, no damages? This morality, the landlord said, okay, we are all human beings, back into the house, pay your rent as usual, but don't pay agreement, no commission, not. But at the end of the day, those tenants began to owe money. Instead of paying in full, some pay in split. So what advantage does this action of such a person have?
Good question, Adegoke. Thank you.
Adegoke, thank you very much. I will always advise, because your relationship with your tenant is a contractual relationship. You give him a space, he pays you the rent. So I will always advise you at all times to do what is called an agreement, a tenancy agreement. Even if you are nice to the person, see, even if you don't want to collect the money for that agreement from the person, you can do the agreement for the sake of the agreement. If you're going to be nice, but let that be an agreement. I have a client that gave his cousin his premises to use for 6 years. And this client told me to do a tenancy agreement for that is cousin. So that the place for rent will be nil, no rent. But it's like you are a tenant of mine for 6 years. After 6 years, you need to gather yourself and then go. But of course, you know that 6 years later, that cousin went back to the village to say that his other cousin want to make him homeless in Lagos. He has forgotten that there was an agreement. In fact, the client had to call me that, please told me bring that agreement 6 years ago. And I brought it. That's when the cousin shut up, because it's like there was an agreement about it. So Adegoke, it's always important that you do an agreement, even if you are not going to use it, even if your church member, your mosque member, your club member, your bosom friend, do the agreement. It might not be necessary, it might not be needful, but if there is a need for it, you can always put it out at least this was what we agreed on, even though that we have indulged ourselves. I get him. Now, for the other question of that man, that James.
Hello, good morning.
Adegoke is still on the line, please.
Okay,
sir.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Adegoke.
Okay.
Because we don't really have the luxury of time.
So, you see, for the purpose of that, James, talking about the person, the buyer, he said the buyer
brings in some
uniform men. Okay, because the mother of the seller came back and said that house was not meant to be sold by the seller.
Okay.
It belonged to her by inheritance. That's another lesson for those who want to buy property. You need to understand who has the genuine estate in that property.
The power of Anthony.
No, not even who has, because you see, let me give you an example I'm trying to say, and I've seen before. Somebody rented an apartment for 1 year, and the person said, I want to travel abroad. Then brings a friend or his friend to come and take over that premises. Okay. And the new person pays the former tenant and then moves, the old tenant moves away.
Call it sublet.
And then the landlord comes and says that, what are you doing here? That this person only has 3 more months to live. And then you have paid him or her for 1 year. Yeah. You see, the 9 months you paid for, she doesn't have the estate in that property. So it means that you are paid Sarah. Thank you very much. That's why when you want to buy property, don't be in a hurry. You need to find out properly who has the estate, who has the interest, who has the right in that property.
To even collect money.
And for how long they have it. Because sometimes I could have just about 50 years time in this place, and I'll spend 45 years. And I'm selling you a property that I'm selling is a freehold. Meanwhile, the freehold is just 5 years I have left. So it cannot be. So when the property belongs to the mother and the son probably stole the certificate, or probably the mother has given the son out of trust, be managing his property for me. And then the son decided, because you have been seeing his son alone, He has been the landlord. You're one of like paid to about over 4 years, 5 years, and then you then sold the property. That does not make you the buyer by law, because you cannot have bought from a wrong party and claim. You see, you cannot put something on nothing. That's why for everyone looking at me, whether you are buying land and a property or you are buying, that's why if you bought a stolen phone, the day the phone is collected from you, you lost your money. Because you can even be an accessory to crime because of what you bought. So that's why you have to be sure that you are buying from the right source, from the right market of art. Where it is right, you can say that I bought it genuinely from a market.
Okay, Barry, let me quickly hold you there, because this question, I have to take it. It happened, like I said, in our area, and the landlord and the tenant, well, the new landlord feels the tenant doesn't pay house rent, and he feels, nobody, I'll confront the baba. I mean, he doesn't pay the PHCN rent, and the man faced him, NEPA, and in the course, the man feels you and they start smuggling in out. But the man did something. He went upstairs to bring his wife, knowing full well that he cannot undo him, brought his wife to slap the tenant now because she's a woman. I'm coming. Good morning.
Hello?
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, morning.
Yeah, please go ahead with your question.
Yeah, I wanted to ask on the area of the aspect of the law that deals with the corporate criminal liability.
Okay. Go ahead, sir.
Please go ahead.
I wanted to ask on the area that deals with corporate criminal liability.
Go ahead, sir.
There's this case that a friend of mine has. It has to do with an organization. 2 employees of the organization were involved in defrauding the young man. So, in fact, it's actually a church. They defrauded the young man. The man took the matter to the leaders of the church, in fact, to the president, the general overseer, more or less, of the church. And they downplayed the whole matter, made it look as if he had no right to complain, and that, made him look as if, this kind of religious...
So what let me
kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Eventually, the matter now went to court. And then the lawyers, the magistrate talked about dispute resolution and all of that. But the lawyers making it look as if this young man has no right to complain at all. That in fact, he should, I think the kind of impression they are giving is that he should rejoice and be exceedingly glad.
Okay. Because of time.
Because
of time, let me quickly address that. You see, that I work for an organization does not make that organization culpable for my misdeed. You have to understand. That's why, you see, when you are engaging somebody because he works for a bank, don't say because he works for a bank, the bank is dealing with you. It depends on the extent of the authority that the person has. That's what they call agency, the rule of agency. You have power and authority and all those responsibilities and duties. So it depends on the scope of my authority. Now that you am associated, say, with a company does not make the company by default ordinarily responsible for my duty, from what I did.
Limited in liability.
So you have to be very careful about that. That's why you need to know who you are dealing with. You need to open your eyes. You need to also do your due diligence in terms of what is the duty of this person. Many people would tie people, and probably by religious organizations and things like that. That it's your organization, it's your government. Just like we say that government. You call government for this, government for that. You have to understand that there's a personal liability, there's a corporate liability, and there are indices of how you tie in a corporate organization to be responsible for something, an individual. So these are all the elements of it that we can time on. But you need to call. If you want to call me, you can call me later. I can answer some of these questions more.
Please feel free to call Barry, so that next week Barry will have to pick up from here, where 2 men they fight, and you believe the best thing you can do is to bring your wife. She's a woman. She has the power. You can't touch her. To slap the fellow man.
All right.
We want to know what the law
So
says
just
about
gather
it.
your questions again. So that means continue this COVID-19 and question and answers.
Yeah, thank
just
you.
gather your questions. Next week we'll see ourselves.
Okay,
God
wonderful
bless you.
people. Bye.